it's me, it is I, it's MoJo. I am your hostess with the mostest, and I am your friendly neighborhood psychic medium. Also, your friendly neighborhood psychic, your friendly neighbor, and your friend. Hi, welcome to Manifesting, Meditation, and Miscellany. I am your hostess, MoJo Medium, and I am just excited to be here. I've got something really cool to talk to you about today. This is my weekly show, 3 p.m. Central, every Wednesday afternoon on YouTube and here on Instagram. And it is called Manifesting, Meditation, and Miscellany. And today, I think the topic falls under all of the above. So let's start for anyone who doesn't know me already. I am a psychic medium. That means, yes, I talk to dead people. But I also work with my own community of the Mighty MoJo Club, in which we work together to grow and share and learn and express and all of that. But it's all about woo-woo stuff. So it's for people who are trying to develop their intuition or people who are already really intuitive and they want to know more. It's for learning about manifestation. It's about figuring out how the universe works and what these messages are that we're supposed to get from spirit and stuff like that. So it's a very cool kind of a deal. And today we just had our Transformation Scouts scout meeting. And Transformation Scouts is when we go deeper down the rabbit hole. So today I'm not going to go super deep with this show. And you know, I saved the deep stuff for Transformation Scouts in the Mighty MoJo Club. But I did want you to be aware of it. The Mighty MoJo Club can be found on my website at mojomedium.com, or if you're on Instagram, the link in my bio. And I think if you're on YouTube, it should be in my profile. Let's hope so. Or it should be in the description of this video. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. That's enough. You know enough about who I am. I just want you to know that I'm here to serve. I'm using my gifts in service to others, which I believe is what we're supposed to do. And today's topic is about the power of fame. And so that's the topic of the video, is the power of fame. But it's not just like, I'm not talking about people who are famous. I'm talking about people who want to be famous. And first of all, what you need to know is that it doesn't have to be fame that is something that you have a craving for or feel that you're meant for. It could be fame, it could be wealth, it could be beauty, it could be what's something else that people pursue? What's another kind of thing that really draws you? It could be, I was once married to a man out of my hundreds of husbands who was very motivated by feeling like he was the hero, by feeling like people thought he was a hero. In fact, we kind of called him hero as a joke. So he was motivated by being seen as the hero, or by someone being obligated to him. So if he was the hero, he swooped in, he saved the day, then he loved that feeling of, now they owe me. You know, so he could like call in his chips anytime, right? So whatever motivates you in terms of like fame. So this is what we're talking about today. So my dad passed away last year. And after a year of being sick, and I got to take care of him, and I got to be with him a lot for that whole year. And it was great. And the year since then has been shit, but we had a great time together. And my dad was a really neat, interesting, fun guy. My mom's really neat and interesting too. She's not a guy, but she's still alive. So we're going to talk about my dad. My dad was a speaker trainer, and he was in bank marketing all his life and taught sales and all kinds of things. But he was also a stand-up comic. And he was a real stand-up comic. You know, he was like on the plane to a gig on a cruise ship, and somebody said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm a comic." And they just went, "Oh," you know, like they didn't believe him. People didn't believe it. And whenever I would say, "My dad's a comic," "What does your dad do?" "He's a comic. He's 80 years old and he's still," yeah, he's a comic. And they'd be like, "Well, is he funny?" Yes, he's funny. He was funny on stage. He was funny off stage. I mean, I grew up in a house where comedy was really paramount. It was a big value in our house, comedy. And so some of my heroes when I was growing up were funny women like Lily Tomlin and Carol Burnett. and I still admire them tremendously, and wouldn't mind being like them. But let's talk about fame. Okay, so my dad wanted to be famous with his comedy, right? I mean, if you are a performer, you probably want to be famous. Um, Most people who perform are, but or want to be famous. But there are lots of working actors, comics, musicians, singers, etc., who work but aren't wildly famous, and so that's probably technically the better way to be it. But anyway, Daddy wanted to be, a bigger success than he was. And so, I realized that it was too bad that he didn't get to be as famous as he wanted to be. So here I am the other day having a conversation with my dad, who has passed away. He's in heaven. I call him up. Hey, Dad, on the 1-800-HEAVEN. He used to say, "Hey, Daddy, what's going on?" And so I was downloading screenshots of his website because we're going to go ahead and close that out. If you want to check it out before it's gone, it's called dickkendall.com. DICKKENDALL. You can go check that out if you like. It will say it's not secure because I did away with the SSL certificate already, tech stuff. But it is secure. It's not a phishing site or anything like that. So you can just go on through. And if something happens to you, I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry. Okay. So I was working on my dad's website, which we're about to close out, and I had downloaded the tech stuff. Okay, skip over the tech stuff. So I felt tension. Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about this. Felt this tension in the back of my neck, which I used to feel a lot when I was having a conversation with someone. I would feel this tension in my back. And so I sat back to relax it, and I kind of asked, like, what is this tension? What am I feeling? You know how the body never lies. You can use your feelings to figure things out. Like a coach, an intuitive coach, or a woo-woo coach like me might ask you, well, where do you feel that in your body? And maybe therapists do that too. I don't know. I haven't had that experience. So I sat back to try to relax, and I thought, what is this? It's probably an unfelt feeling, or a denied feeling that I'm having as I'm working on this website of my dad's, right? I still miss him terribly, terribly much. And, I mean, like he used to say, no matter how old you are, when your parents die, you're still an orphan. So I find that to be quite true. I will miss him forever. And so I thought that's probably an unfelt feeling. And I'm working on my dad's stuff. And I heard Daddy say, it's okay to be sad, but you know that. He said, it's okay to be sad, but you know that. Which of course I did. Of course I know that, and he knew that, and we talked a lot about grief over the years. And so I said, yes, I do know. I'm looking at this work you and I did together, and that we built his website together, and all that you did. And I said, you wanted to be famous. And he said, here we go. Okay, this is the big moment. I'm giving you a chance. Pay attention. Write it down. This is what he said. This was the message I got when I said, oh, you wanted to be famous. And I was like, oh, this is his response. It is that desire to be famous that gets you doing what you're supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you what a light bulb moment this was for me. What a bolt of lightning it was for me. And I hope that it means something to you too, because look at whatever you are drawn to. Let's say that ever since you were a kid, you just knew you were supposed to be famous, or when you were growing up, you wanted to be wealthy. I have a friend who is very much like that, and he is very wealthy. But whatever that motivation is to get out there and do something, that's actually pulling you to do what you are supposed to do, and to reach the people you're supposed to reach, and to help those you're supposed to help, and to fulfill your destiny, and to feel wonderful. And so I was just like, I was like, so I said, so I was thinking, wow, fame isn't the goal by itself then, right? And he said, well, it wasn't for me. The fame wasn't in and of itself the goal. But he said, but I did what I was supposed to do. I helped the ones I was supposed to help, and I loved it. And so, he saw his comedy as a ministry of sorts that, he was using his gifts in service to others. And if you think that performers are not helping people, think about the last time you went to a comedy show or a good comedy show and laughed your ass off, or the last time you went to a concert, big or small, the last time you heard church music. I mean, any of those things, somebody's making that music, somebody's making you laugh. And do you feel changed, uplifted, encouraged, happier, better, relieved for a little while, relieved of your worries? That person is using their gifts in service to you. So yes, performers do help people. And I say this is really important because, you've heard, well, first of all, I've heard a million people, a bunch of clients, thousands of clients have said to me, I just want to help people. That is the most expressed, the most often expressed desire for work. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I just want to help people, right? Which is noble. And I think part of the reason we say that is that it's human nature to want to help others. And it's partly because it's instilled in us from a young age that is a noble thing to do. So if you have been drawn to fame, or you thought you were meant to be famous, or you've always thought it would be cool to be famous, or if you're drawn to money and you've always wanted money, you've heard that saying, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? You've also heard, which is semi-bullshit, and I'm not going to get into it. And then the other one is that if you do what you love, the money will follow. And that's pretty much all bullshit. That's 90% bullshit, really. At least I have found that's true. Yes, it's true that you should do the work that you love, and using your gifts in service to others is usually something you love doing. And I don't have time to get into all of that on this one little broadcast, but I think you're getting the idea of what I'm talking about. So pursuing fame as an example and thinking, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. What do I need to do to get famous? Oh, I'm going to go live on Instagram. I'm going to go live on YouTube and be famous, right? If you are thinking like that, then the things that you do to acquire fame, as you're on your way to do that, you will be doing the things that you're supposed to do and you'll enjoy it. Now, if you are pursuing fame, I would assume that you are not working at, whatever, the grocery store or in an office or something, and not performing at all, or not doing art or photography or writing or whatever it is that you are wanting to do that would maybe bring fame. So the fame is the motivator that makes you do what you're supposed to do and to help the people you're supposed to help. So the rest of this conversation, I wrote this down with my dad when I said, so I said, you wanted to be famous. And he said, it's that desire to be famous that gets you doing what you're supposed to do. In the same way that you have to get up in the morning and go to work or school, gets you doing what you're supposed to do. And you may not want to get up. I never did, but I did it. It gets you doing what you're supposed to do. So that's in a very human level, earthly kind of way, right? You get up in the morning because you have to go to work, because you have to earn a living, okay? So you get up whether you want to or not, and getting up is what makes you go do what you're supposed to do. So that's the earthly way. The soul level way, the spiritual way, is whatever it is that you've got in mind that you think would be good: wealth, fame, obligation, serving others, although that's not usually a really pure desire, but I'm not going to get into that either. And if that you feel that's your pure desire, I will not argue with you today. So that desire to pursue that thing is not actually what you're here about, but you've been given that, so that you've been given that desire so that you'll do the things that you're supposed to do in terms of destiny, in terms of your calling and what you're here to do. Does that make sense? So as you're pursuing fame, you're pursuing wealth, you're pursuing what else? Like I said, beauty. What are some other good examples? Okay. So this is what and I also asked. So Daddy said, I said, fame isn't the goal by itself then, right? And Daddy said, well, it wasn't for me, but I did what I was supposed to do. And when I say goal, I should say that wasn't the end result. So fame wasn't your end result after all. And he said, well, it wasn't for me, but I did what I was supposed to do. I helped the ones I was supposed to help, and I loved it. And I said, and you learned? Because we had a conversation about that once before. He said, and I learned. So then I wrote down, lots of people want to be famous, which is true. Maybe you're one of them. I thought I was one of them. Maybe I still am. Lots of people want to be famous. I did. So here's what that means. Society and soul level. So I've just gone over that. I'm reviewing my notes. The prospect of being famous is not the motivator for everyone, and each soul knows what will motivate its vessel. Oh, I wrote that down. I'm so clever. So each soul knows what will motivate its vessel. You're the vessel. You have a soul inside you. You're the vessel. So each soul knows what will motivate it. You may instead crave, I have some other examples, solitude, wealth, which is a strong motivator for a lot of people, a home, travel, beauty, creating. One of my coaching clients says she just wants to live a creative life. Well, okay, so in the pursuit of living a creative life, what is she going to be doing? Creating, serving others with her talents, making it so that she gets to do what she loves to do, and then sharing that with the world. So that's not as much about serving others, but she's motivated by a creative life. Like she's setting this up in her mind, and we're working on her manifestation to have a creative life. What does that look like to her? So that's her motivation. So Daddy looks out at me from the contact page on the website and says, it's all right. There was a little bit more. Anyway, as I was closing out my dad's website, there was something that popped up on a Facebook video. I'm not sure how that was. I think I had Facebook open next to the website, closed out the website, and there's this Facebook video that said, fun can change behavior for the better. This is exactly what my dad would say. He trained adults for years. 40 years he trained adults in sales and marketing and so forth. And he was very good at it. And of course he was funny. Have you ever been to see a motivational speaker? And don't they amuse you? They do things funny, right? Because you learn better that way. And so there was this quote on a Facebook video that said, fun can change behavior for the better. I thought, wow, that's one of those little, put there just for you from your late loved one. Love that kind of stuff. So you kind of get the idea what I'm talking about, right? Whatever is motivating you, like a big dream, like the being famous or the being fabulously wealthy, winning the lottery, Think about this for a minute. If you did win the lottery and you won like one of those really big jackpots, like $500 million or, $75 million or something crazy like that, could you really, what would you do? I would give a lot of that away. I'd keep plenty, but I'd give a lot of that away. It was just like, that's so much money. I don't think I could do that much money, but the lottery, playing the lottery, winning the lottery in itself is not a motivator, right? But wealth can be a motivator. So that motivation, that pull that you feel, think about that. Think about if you want to be famous, maybe you're supposed to be doing something that you think would take you to that point, but actually that's not what you're here to do. Now, Don't let this discourage you. It doesn't mean that you can't be famous if that's what you want, or that you can't be wealthy, certainly. It doesn't mean that you can't have that. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to. I'm just telling you, like my dad said, for him, he said, for me, it wasn't. For me, it wasn't the result I was supposed to get. He has one of his friends is a comic who is famous. And for him, being famous is part of it. He actually doesn't like it that much. He likes making a better living, but he's not that crazy about it. So let that sink in and think about, what's the big, high, lofty goal that you think, well, I really want to be that, but I probably never will. But work toward it. Work toward it, because that's going to be what you are supposed to be. That's going to be what you're supposed to be, do, and have. You're supposed to use your gifts and service to others, no matter what that lofty, high, crazy goal is. Trying to get there is going to be your real destiny, what you're really supposed to do. But don't think that that's a bad thing. You know, for my dad, when he passed away, oh, I just noticed that. Huh, that's funny. I didn't realize that you could see the back of my phone on the screen. Sorry, Instagram, that was for YouTube. So my dad, you know, he understood that he did what did what he was supposed to do. And he wasn't disappointed. He wasn't disappointed over not getting to be really famous. He was famous enough to help the people he helped and to satisfy his desire to stand up, to go up on stage and be funny and have people laugh. And that was what he was here for. So I hope you will take his message to heart. And I can't wait to see you again next week, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube, MoJo Medium, Instagram, The MoJo Medium, and online at mojomedium.com. Join the club, join the club, join the club. Okay? Okay. Great. Thanks so much. I will see you soon. And for you,